Hello, everyone. This is Miguelina Betty, aka Catwoman from Tech Valor, and welcome to my live stream. Yay! Today's live stream is brought to you by the emotion excitement. Woohoo! So, what are you excited for today? I hope that those who wanted to get iPhones got them, whether you got the iPhone 14 or the iPhone 14 Plus or the island phones with the island notch. So welcome. Hey, the island boy himself, Bradley. Welcome to the chat, island boy. Holla at your boy, LaShawn. Hey, welcome. Barry Johnson, hi. Jeff Hale, blessings to you too. Welcome to the chat. Tech for your needs. Hey, how you doing, Lewis? Savage Scientist Programming, 10 Hut. Hey, welcome. Random Universe 1000, welcome. I see you cracking up. I'm happy to make you laugh. Hey, listen to Julian. Welcome to my live stream. Jojo the Techie, hey. Hey, girl, hey. So nobody has said if they've gotten the iPhone. I'm not getting it, but I thought it was pretty cool that a lot of people were pre-ordering today. I hope it went smoothly for y'all who wanted it to get it. Hey, Gigi, my web wife. Hey, welcome. My tech twin, Spectacular Gadgets. What up, girl? Welcome. Our dog, welcome. He said, I can't wait to see you break it all down. Well, I'm breaking down a lot of articles, so let me know which one you're most excited for. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and toot my own horn. I do have something cool to share with y'all. So my husband, Mr. Catwoman, surprised me with the SM7B Microphone. Yeah, so it's right here. It's hard. I hope it's hardly noticeable for you guys because I don't really like my microphones to be in the shot, but it is today. Let me know if you guys are liking the audio and everything like that. So I'm gonna share my screen. So this is the Shure SM7B microphone. It's pretty costly. It's $400. I'm really appreciative of my husband for getting it for me. He said that when I'm in live streams with others, people talk over me because my volume is low. So hopefully when I'm with y'all, with other people and stuff, y'all be able to hear me. But also, I hope that it's also going to be good for this live stream for you guys as well. Oh, thank you everybody for saying that the audio is good. Appreciate it. I'm glad that you guys are liking it. Okay, our dog said that it's the Apple versus Brazil that he hasn't heard of. Yes, I'm definitely gonna go over that one. I'm gonna break it all down. Savage Scientist said, clean, wicked audio. Hey, wicked. Hey, from Boston. Hey, Uno Nice. Welcome to the stream. Oh, listen to Julia said, the audio is great. Your setup is solid. Thank you. Thank you. Barry said it's going to be good for live stream and videos. You won't have to use Adobe to clean up audio. Yes, for sure. Yep. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to share with you guys is, sorry, I'm just writing down the timestamp. So the next thing that I want to share with you guys is tech in the media. So the first article that I want to share with you guys is actually about the Mandalorian. Yeah, the Mandalorian series is not on right now, but I know it's close to many techies' hearts. But if there might be something that you might not know about when they filmed the Mandalorian, and this article actually caught my attention because of Savage the Scientist. So last week we were talking about Lizzo and how in her performance she was using a really big screen and she was dancing along to the images that were behind her, and it was in sync and it was on point. And Savage Scientist said, "Oh, imagine how there could be a holodeck." Well, this is basically like a holodeck. Pretty cool. So the article starts off by saying how the Mandalorian and ILM visibly reinvented film and TV production. Enter the volume. Ooh. And here's a picture of it. It's basically a wraparound screen, and then there's also LED lights above too, so it can capture the horizon. It's so cool. So I'll go on to read. The Mandalorian was a pretty good show. On that, most people seem to agree. But while a successful live-action Star Wars TV series is important in its own right, the way this particular show was made represents a far greater change. Perhaps the most important since the green screen. That says a lot. The cutting-edge tech behind The Mandalorian creates a new standard and paradigm for media, and the audience will be none the wiser. What is this magical new technology? It's an evolution of a technique that's been used for nearly a century in one form or another. Displaying a live image behind the actors, the advance is not in the idea, but the execution. A confluence of technologies that redefines virtual production and will empower a new generation of creators. So meet the volume. It's so cool. This dome is so cool. Formerly called stagecraft, it's 20 feet tall. That's really tall. 270 degrees around and 75 feet across, the largest and most sophisticated virtual film making environment yet made. ILM just publicly released a behind-the-scenes video, which I do have linked in the description and the show notes, of the system in use, as well as a number of new details about it. And here it shows the old ways, well, not the old ways, this is still being done, but the static way of it being done using a green screen, which is in a large area, usually inside of a movie studio. And that's the regular way of doing it, but obviously it's not all it's cut out to be. One of the most difficult things for an actor in modern filmmaking is getting into character while surrounded by green walls, foam blocks indicating obstacles to be painted in later, and people with mocap dots on their face and suits with ping pong balls attached. Not to mention, everything has green reflections that need to be lit or colored out. So here's some more images. So what's more, because of the limitations in rendering CG content, the movements of the cameras are often restricted to a dolly track or a few pre-selected shots, which the content and lighting, as we see, has been prepared. So this particular volume, called StarCraft by ILM, the company that put it together, is not static. The background is a set of enormous LED lights, such as you might have seen on stage at conferences and concerts, like the Lizzo concert that we talked about last week. The stagecraft volume is bigger than any of those, but most importantly, it's smarter. See, it's not enough just to show an image behind the actors. Filmmakers have been doing this with a projected background since the silent era. And that's fine if you just want to have a few fake view out of a studio window or a fake location behind the static shot. The problem arises when you want to do anything more fancy than that, like move the camera because when the camera moves, it immediately becomes clear that the background is a flat image. The innovation in stagecraft and other smaller LED walls is not only that the image shown is generated live and photorealistic 3D powered by GPUs, but that the 3D scene is directly affected by the movements and settings of the camera. If the camera moves to the right, the image alters just as if it were a real scene. And so here is a GIF of how that looks like. It's really, really cool. So the article does go on, but I don't want to read the whole thing. It's pretty long, but I hope that you guys get the gist of it and how cool it is to be in a dome like this. Like I said, there is a video with the link down below so you guys can watch it and how they do it and how it looks. I think it's really innovative and cool. And so Savage, that's the closest that we have right now to a holodeck. I hope you like this article. Let's see what you guys have to say in the chat. Hello, my mama. Welcome. Hey, BG Tech Life. Welcome to the stream. Yay. Thank you for helping me out earlier with that troll that was being inappropriate to me in your premiere. Jojo the Techie says, this is so interesting. I bet it saves them money too. Yes, absolutely. Yep. And I think most of all, what is great is that it helps connect the actors with the scenes better, so they don't have to struggle so much with inanimate objects. Savage the Scientist likes it. He says, insert evil laugh. Well, I'm glad that you like this article. Barry said, I think Savage thinks the article is satanic. Well, that would explain the evil laughter. So silly. So, speaking of green screens, I have another article about tech in the media. I think you guys will find it interesting. It's about Whoopsie. So fans spot House of the Dragon CGI fingers mistaken on episode 3. So there you see. It's a green glove. Oops, they did it again. So HBO Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, had its first major technical error on Sunday night's episode, according to an eagle-eyed fan who never forgot the infamous coffee cup. Episode 3 featured Patty, who portrays King Viserys I Targaryen in the fantasy drama, wearing a glove with several green fingers. Photos posted on Twitter show. King Viserys supposedly has a mysterious sickness that plagues his bones, and the medics in episode 2 told him that it was likely his fingers would need to be amputated if the infection spread. However, viewers weren't meant to see the green glove, since it was likely wearing it to aid the computer-generated effects team digitally remove his fingers in post-production editing. So Twitter user Sarah Capps was able to catch the CGI gaffe, posting in a screenshot of the scene writing, "Not the green screen glove on Viserys' missing finger," laugh crying emoji, House of the Dragon. So here's the image. He's passing a note over to one of the messengers, and there's 2 of his fingers with the green gloves on, which was supposed to be edited out by CGI. And some people might think like, oh, y'all were probably looking too deep into this episode, but you have to understand that since literally episode 1, we were wondering what was going to happen to his limbs, and so people were looking for it. Even I was looking for it, but I didn't notice it until that person said that. But I was looking to see what his fingers did look like in episode 3. Viewers couldn't help but point out the mistake, talking to Twitter to air out their fury. I can't believe that this show got a green light. I'm having a hard time believing that any of the people that were involved in creating Game of Thrones were involved in scripting lines and laying out the screenplay. This will probably go down as the worst prequel of all time, one fan lamented. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like that person is a whiny whiner, and that was just a little too over the top. One person chimed in, the CGI team's so focused on the dragons, they missed the small details. Which I'm not going to be too mad about that because the dragons look amazing. They really do. So it's okay if they kind of miss the small stuff here and there. I hope it's not a habit, but the dragons, they are, oh my gosh, they're so cool looking. Another person said, seems Thrones is prone to little mishaps, thinking of the infamous coffee cup. Another added. And so it shows an example of the coffee cup, obviously not supposed to be there because it's medieval times and they didn't have plastic or paper like that. So yeah. The HBO series Slip Up was reminiscent of the infamous Game of Thrones coffee cup made during the season 8 episode in 2019, which there were so many things that went wrong in season 8. Like that was like minuscule compared to, the storyline. But anyways, in the scene of Game of Thrones, a to-go coffee cup was spotted on the table where the star Emilia Clarke, who played Daenerys Targaryen, was sitting. While the errant Java cup was digitally erased for later broadcast, the blunder became just as memorable as Game of Thrones itself in pop culture. Fans suggested the blame was thanks to Sophie Turner, but she later called out Clarke for the mishap. So everybody was just pointing fingers like, no, it was you, no, it was you. Let's see what the chat has to say. So Jojo the Techie said, at least it's not the Starbucks cup. Well, they did bring it up. So it was on your mind, and look, there it is in the article. Who could forget, to be honest with you? Hey Shay, the queen of Steeler Nation Kennedy. Hey girl, hey, welcome to the chat. Our Dark said, the little attention to details. Yeah, I'm sure it took some people out of the storyline because they're like, oh, how decrepit does his fingers look? And it's like, oh, it's green, it's all green. Our Dark says it happens though. Yes, it does happen. Listen to Julian said, folks be watching way too hard. For real, yeah, they are. They do be watching way too hard. All right, time to get into some actual tech news here. First one we're going to talk about is Apple. Yes, Apple. Hey, Johan, welcome to the chat. Hey, doing great. I hope you're doing good too. So, Apple to appeal Brazil sale ban of the iPhone without charger. Apple said on Tuesday it will appeal a Brazilian order banning it from selling iPhones without a battery charger, pushing back on claims that the company provides an incomplete product to consumers. The Justice Ministry fined Apple $2.38 million and ordered the company to cancel sales of the iPhone 12 and newer models, in addition to suspending the sale of any iPhone model that does not come with a charger. In the order published on Tuesday in the country's official Gazette, the ministry argued that the iPhone was lacking an essential component in deliberate discriminatory practice against consumers. The authorities rejected Apple's argument that the practice had the purpose of reducing carbon emissions, saying that there's no evidence that selling a smartphone without a charger offers environmental protections. Apple said it would continue to work with Brazilian Consumer Protection Agency, Senacon, in order to resolve their concerns, while saying it would appeal the decision. We have already won several court rulings in Brazil on the matter, and we are confident that our customers are aware of the various options for charging and connecting their devices, Apple said. The order comes a day before Apple is expected to announce the new iPhone model. So that's it for the article. So again, this is Brazil saying that they don't want Apple to sell any more iPhones in their country. So I actually pulled up the actual legislation from Brazil, and I use Google Translate to translate to Portuguese because it actually goes more in depth about it. And so, I'll go ahead and read it. Bundle sales. So understanding the infractions, bundle sales. For Seneca, by ceasing to sell cell phones without a charger, which is essential for the normal operation of the phone, the company practices bundle sales by dissimulation, since indirectly it forces consumers to purchase a second product, the charger, without which the main device does not work. Sale of an incomplete product or product lacking essential functionality. According to the decision, the sale of a product without the charger is sufficient for it to be considered inappropriate for consumption for which it is intended, or that it reduces its value. According to Code Consumer of Protection, thus, Senecon emphasizes that if the utility of a good depends on another that is not provided by the manufacturer, this practice is illegal. So according to Brazil's own laws, you cannot sell a product that is incomplete. It is completely illegal, which is why Apple was sued, and this is the consequences for what is going on right now. Refusal to sell the complete product through discrimination against the consumer. Also, according to Senecon, the discrimination factor adopted by the company is basically the consumer's income, which allows for loyalty and constant replacement by the same user of the device. In a few months or years, the agency says that the company supplying battery chargers is unnecessary, with the justification that the segment of the public elected by it, although small, does not need to be that equipment, as it can use the charger and old model already as previously purchased. Also, Senecon believes that the argument that the price of the product by itself excludes is not justified, since especially in Brazil, where installment plans and installments are common way of carrying to purchase a sales contract. So what they're saying is you're basically pigeonholing the consumers, because instead of them going to another OEM, like let's say if a person that has Samsung wants to go over, a person that has Apple wants to go over to Samsung, well, it's not good because now they need to buy another, they don't have the product from before. So it's pigeonholing the consumer, and that is not legal in Brazil. Next is transfer of responsibilities to third parties. Finally, Senecon states that the practice adopted by Apple generates two types of transfers of responsibility: transfer of responsibility for supplying the charger, and transfer of responsibility to Brazilian state and its exchange policy sense. Even if the device comes without a charging device, their prices have not dropped because of that. Therefore, it is understood that the price is mainly determined by commercial strategy instead of considering to production cost. So what they're saying in this part is that there's two different types of third parties that are now taking the brunt of it. Obviously is alternate companies that sell the charger. And then secondly, that Apple did not reduce their price because they got rid of the charger. So because of that, they're looking at it as you guys are just doing this for commercial gain and profit. So because of that reason, it's illegal to do so in Brazil, and that's why they are fining Apple and saying that they're no longer allowed to sell their phones in Brazil, which Brazil is one of the biggest countries in South America. That is a large section of the population. So I wonder what's going to happen now. Obviously, people that have the iPhone 11 and under, they don't have to worry about that. There might be some things happening too. Probably there's going to be like underground sales of the iPhone. That might be something that will happen. And the reason why only Apple is actually getting fined and banned is because they were sued, since they were the first ones to do it. So this has been ongoing since the iPhone 12. But don't be surprised when they turn around and they now go after Samsung and other OEMs that are not including the charger in the box and saying, hey, you're not allowed to sell this phone here in Brazil because it doesn't include the charger. So let's see what y'all have to say. Jojo the Techie says, read it in Portuguese. My Portuguese is not good. My Spanish is okay, but my Portuguese is not very good. It's non-existent. I could understand it a little bit because it's close to Spanish, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. You're so silly. So Bradley says more countries need to follow Brazil's lead. I think so. I hope that that's what also happens as well, is that other countries, put their foot down and do the same thing as Brazil. Listen to Julian says, shout out to Brazil. They need to sue Samsung next since they want to copy Apple. Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised that they're going to sue Samsung next. So they did say in this article, somewhere in this article, that they do plan on suing other OEMs as well. Hello, Kenny Man. Welcome. Our dog says, hope Samsung is next. Yeah, a lot of consensus. Yeah, I know Samsung loves to copy Apple and then also throw rocks at them for other things as well. Johan said, only foreign countries hold Apple accountable to the US. Nope. Yeah, it is true. I mean, Apple is quote unquote a US company, so they get away with a lot of things. It's sad because it just hurts the consumers. But I hope that in the appeal that they're still banned. I hope that that's what happens. And I hope the appeals takes a long time too, so that they can really feel it in their pockets. Bradley said, and the judge knows they saved $6 billion by removing the charger. Yep, because they didn't reduce their prices either. And so they feel like that's not fair and that it's not sufficient enough from what they were saying that it was supposed to protect the environment. They're like, what environment protection? I don't see none. Holla at your boy said, read it in pig Latin. Chile, chilo, chila, chile. Y'all are so silly. Johan said, Brazil said, put a goddamn charger in the goddamn box. Yes, they said it in so many ways. And they said, all of these things that you're rebuting, no, we don't believe you. Put the charger in the box. Okay, zoom on to the next one. The next article here is Google. Hey, Google is having an event. Woohoo! Come one, come all. A Made by Google event. It's all coming together this fall. Join us live October 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern as we feature the latest addition to our family of devices. Woohoo! Yay! So the link that I put down here, if you want to see the event live, you'll be able to see it on this page, on that page that I provided. So I think it's pretty, simple and what's going to happen. Basically, they're going to announce the Pixel 7 series and the Pixel Watch. How many of y'all going to watch this? But keeping in theme with the Pixel 7, there was a leak. So a company in Bangladesh, they said that they bought the phone off of somebody on Facebook Marketplace, and this video was originally in Facebook Marketplace. Not in Facebook Marketplace, but a Facebook page, but the video has since been taken down. But this company, this account actually re-uploaded this video so you guys can see it. So it just shows basically the phone being unboxed, and it's the Pixel 7 Pro. And they actually turn it on so you can see that it has Google services on there. So it's not like the one that Unbox Therapy had, where when you turn it on, it was just jargon, it was just code, and it didn't have an AI. This one actually has Android in it. So that's pretty cool. And of course, they're just only going to be including in the boxes the cable and what's it called again? The OTG adapter as well. So that's what they'll be included. I did also include a link to that video and a link to the article from The Verge if you guys want to check it out and read it. There really isn't much to read, but the link that it provided was the link to Facebook, and that video is no longer available. But you guys can, go back and watch and replay it and stuff like that. Hope you guys are excited for Techtober. That's going to be happening in October. So mark your calendars, y'all. October 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So speaking of Google leaks, Google confirms the Pixel 7 series will run on the new Tensor G2 chip. So that's what they're calling it, the Tensor G2 chip. So last year, the Google Tensor chip debuted as the powerhouse behind the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro, and later the Pixel 6a. Billed as Google's own chip for smartphones, the Tensor chip was built in partnership with Samsung, enhancing Exynos-like processors with Google's machine learning prowess. Internally, that first Google-made SoC has a model number of GS101, but the company has solely referred to the Google Tensor chip. For nearly a year now, we've known the next generation of Pixel phones would include a second generation Tensor chip, the GS201, but it wasn't clear how Google would brand the new hardware. So today, Google formally announced that it would be hosting the hardware event on October 6th, which should serve as a launching point for the Pixel 7, the Pixel Watch, and more. In doing so, the company also updated various parts of the Google Store website with new tidbits about the upcoming hardware. On the updated magazine page for the Pixel 7, there is now a reference to the Google Tensor G2 chip in the phone. Following this year's pattern, it's likely that the Tensor G2 will also feature in next year's Pixel 7a, as well as any foldable Google may have in the works. Google goes on to claim that the Tensor G2 is what allows the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro to bring a more powerful, personalized features to photos, videos, security, and speech recognition. With any luck, these may be clues to what to expect Google to announce in next month's event, as the company has remained mostly silent about the Pixel 7 software, only showing the hardware exterior. The mention of security could be related to Face Unlock feature that we recently reported was still actively in development for the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro. or it could simply be a general security improvements. Yay! Are y'all excited? Are y'all excited? I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. So I'm just checking out, see what the chat has to say. Bradley said, "Don't say nothing too bad about LaShawn's new favorite company." New favorite company. Are you talking about Apple? Because he did a video about cases with the Apple phone. Was it? Yeah, maybe. Barry said that he'll be watching. Jojo said that she just got the new Nest Hub 2. Oh, congratulations. Welcome. Bradley said, me, he'll be watching. Johan said, you know I'm watching and I'm going to be on time too. Yeah. Jojo said, favorite month of the year. It's October. Hey, Spectacular Gadget says that she's excited. Awesome sauce. I'm glad that you guys are all excited. All right. So next article is a TikTok. TikTok was hacked, y'all. Well, that's what they're saying, but they're denying it. TikTok hacked. Over 2 billion users' database records stolen, security researchers. Cybersecurity researchers on Monday discovered a potential data breach in the Chinese short-form video app TikTok, allegedly involving up to 2 billion users' database records. Change your passwords, y'all. Several cybersecurity analysts tweeted about the discovery of what was a breach in an insecure server that allowed access to TikTok storage, which they believe contained personal user data. Quote, this is your forewarning. TikTok has reportedly suffered a data breach, and if true, there may be fallout from it in the coming days. We recommend you change your TikTok password and enable two-factor authentication if you not have done so already, end quote. Tweet by Beehive Cybersecurity. Quote, we've reviewed a sample of the extracted data to our email subscribers and private clients. We've already sent out a warning communication, end quote. Troy Hunt, creator of data breach information site Have I Been Pwned, posted a thread on Twitter to verify if the sample data is genuine or not. For him, the evidence is so far pretty inconclusive. Blue Hornet Against the West posted all details on breach forums. Let me just take a sip of water, y'all. Who would have thought that TikTok would have decided to store all their internal backend source code in one Alibaba Cloud instance using a trashy password? They tweeted, posting about how easily they could have downloaded the data. A TikTok spokesperson was quoted as saying in the news reports that their security team investigated the statement and determined that the code in question is completely unrelated to TikTok backend source code. Microsoft 365 Defender research team just discovered a vulnerability in the TikTok app for Android that can let hackers take over private short-form videos of millions of users once they click on a malicious link. So Microsoft discovered a high severity vulnerability in TikTok Android application, which could allow hackers to compromise users' accounts with a single click. So that is what's going on with TikTok. They suggest that you guys change your passwords. Are you guys using TikTok? I'm using TikTok because my daughters use TikTok and they're on it all the time, and I like to share funny memes with them and they like to share it with me back. So I do have TikTok and I will be changing my password. So y'all need to be changing your passwords too. So about the previous article, Bradley said, "Would be cool if Google give us some details of the upcoming tablet and tease a foldable for October." That would be so cool if they tease that. That would be so great, and it would also, just the people who like to do rumors, it would just also just calm them down a little bit. So I like the way they did that before earlier. Jojo Detective said, "Bradley, that would be great. They have to address all those rumors about the tablet being dockable." Oh, I didn't know that there was a rumor about it being dockable or not. Okay, on to the next article. It's the way the industry is going. How YouTube is transforming podcasting. This one is close to home. So video podcasts are booming, giving creators access to new audiences. But does this risk ruining what made the audio format so satisfying? Secret group of geniuses kill for fun. In a recent video podcast on his true crime YouTube channel, Mr. Ballin, John Allen tells the story of a mysterious poisoning involved in Mensa that took place in rural Florida. The video of Allen wearing his signature blue plaid shirt and backwards cap, speaking insistently to the camera, has garnered close to 4 million views. Mr. Ballin is an example of blurring of the lines between podcasts and YouTube. His YouTube channel launched in 2020 and counts for more than 6 million subscribers. The podcast, available on likes of Spotify and Apple, followed in February and is already attracting up to 7 million monthly downloads. While we mostly know podcasts as something you tune in while exercising or driving, the overlap between video content and audio podcasts is changing user habits and pitting video giant YouTube against audio native Spotify. Allen is not the only one bridging the divide. YouTube stars like Logan Paul and H3H3 have also branched out into podcasts. It's going in the other direction too. Some Spotify stars, podcasters like Joe Rogan and Call Her Daddy Alex Cooper, already post video podcasts to the platform, and it's slowly rolling out abilities to upload video podcasts to more creators. Like me, my video podcast is on Spotify. Yay! I did that last week. I uploaded it. It was so easy. And now people on Spotify can watch the same video that you guys are watching on YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. So yeah. While Allen's audio and video output streams are still separate from the moment, Allen plans to merge the two operations at some point. A study by market research firm Columbus published in May, YouTube is already the most popular platform for podcasts. It won the market without really trying. Now it's getting serious. The company has launched a dedicated beta podcast landing page, hired a podcast executive to lead the efforts in the medium, and offered popular podcasters and podcast networks to grant up to $300,000 to create video versions of their show, according to Bloomberg. Do you guys listen to podcasts more on audio only, or do you guys watch them on YouTube or other places like Twitch and stuff like that? It's a sign of growing competition in the space. That's bad news for Spotify, which has invested about $1 billion in podcasting for recent years. Even Gen Z's beloved short-form video platform TikTok is thinking about launching a music service that would cover podcasts. And I mentioned in last week's as well that Twitter is now doing podcasts as well. So everybody's getting into podcasting and longer form content, as well as shorter form content. And the article goes on, but it's really long. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I do have the link to that so you guys can read it on your own. But I just found it really interesting about what's happening with podcasting, that it's becoming more of a video thing instead of an audio thing now. Barry said, LOL, I watch him and I listen to his podcast. Mr. Ballin is that dude. Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Savage Scientist says, in about 5 years, it will only be video format. Especially, I agree, especially if you can play the video in the background. If you can do that, you can do that on YouTube, and you can do that on Twitch as well. So yeah, I think the future is going to be video only if it implements that type of tool. Johan said, I usually watch and listen to my podcast, so usually both. Cool. All right. On to the next article. Meta, yes, the lovely people of Meta. They are having a conference. So Meta, welcome to Meta Connect. Discover how the metaverse is being built by many and why collaborations is the key to it all. Live streaming on October 11th to October, with a session of developers and creators available on demand after the show. More information and speakers details coming soon. Yep. So this event, they're going to be most likely talking about VR and other things. Usually this used to be called Facebook. It used to be usually called just Connect, but now it's being called Meta Connect. So a new site teases Meta Connect with a countdown timer and more information and speakers details coming soon. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg recently teased that the company's high-end Quest Pro standalone headset, currently known as Project Cambria, which I think the name of this project is such a bad idea. Who thought of calling it Project Cambria? Is so bad. The reason is because of what happened with Cambridge Analytica. This name is so close to that. I feel like it's just giving me flashbacks to Cambridge Analytica. Anyways, it's due for release in October. Meanwhile, Meta's longtime technical guide, John Carmack, confirmed he'll be giving his unscripted talk this year inside VR. Connect has been held annually in 2014 as Oculus and then Facebook's biggest event, focused around outlining the company's strategy in VR and AR. The event typically sees deep dive sessions and product announcements, which offer a framework for developers to digest as they build for Meta's platform. Meta just updated the login flow for Quest 2 with accounts now in place, and Zuckerberg already teased the update to the company's avatars and Horizon World system. With the new sensor-laden and high-end VR sets on the way, this year's updates promise to be some of the biggest yet. In fact, Zuckerberg teased that a new view of the upcoming headset on Facebook. The device is currently known publicly as Project Cambria, again, horrible name, but is likely to be called Meta Quest Pro at release. So yeah. Let's see what you guys have to say about it. Savage Scientist says, when I heard the name, I thought about Cambridge Analytica too. Right? That was such a horrible idea. That was such a horrible idea. Savage also said, Oculus, I think that's something in the Silicon Valley. Oculus, yeah, they're part of Silicon Valley. They're, the VR headset. Yeah. Listen to Julian said, what is the name of your podcast? You're part of it right now. This is my podcast. I turn my live stream into a podcast. So after it's done, I go ahead and I upload the video onto Anchor, and Anchor posts the video on Spotify and the audio on Anchor, and it's available on all other podcasts like Apple, Google, Amazon Music. Yeah, the audio version is available everywhere. So yeah. Welcome to episode 3, Julian. All right. On to the next article, y'all. So, floppy disks in Japan. Minister declares war on old-fashioned technology. Hooray! So, around 1900, government procedures still require businesses to use storage devices plus CDs and mini discs, Taro Kono said. He said regulations would be updated to allow people to use online services. Despite its reputation for innovative high-tech gadgetry, Japan is notorious for clinging onto outmoded technology through its office culture. Floppy disks, so-called because of the original product were bendable, were created in the 1960s but were falling out of fashion 3 decades later thanks to more efficient storage solutions. More than 20,000 typical disks would be needed to replicate an average memory stick storing 32,000 gigabytes of information. But the legacy of the square-shaped device can still be witnessed to this day, as their visual appearance inspired the traditional save icon. A Japanese government committee has discovered about 1,900 areas in which the businesses are required to use storage media like floppy disks when making applications or holding data. During a news conference on Tuesday, Mr. Kono also criticized the country's lingering use of other outdated technology. "I'm looking to get rid of the fax machine, and I still plan to do that," he said. Turning to storage devices, he asked, "Where does one even buy a floppy disk these days?" This is not the first time Japan has hit the headlines for its old-fashioned habits, which remain a paradox given the country's proficiency in developing exciting new products. Various explanations have been offered, including poor digital literacy and a bureaucratic culture with conservative attitudes. There was a shock when the country's cybersecurity minister, again, the cybersecurity minister admitted in 2018 that he had never used a computer, saying that he always delegated his IT tasks to his staff. That is that is horrible. Like, really, the Ministry of Cybersecurity had never used a computer. That, I'm shooketh. Shooketh. And it was not until 2019 that Japan's final pager provided its closed its service, with the final private subscriber explaining that it was a preferred method of communication for his elderly mother. Oh, well, looks like she had to get with the times. Poor mama. Officials in the U.S. were also discovered to still be using floppy disks to manage their nuclear weapons, still using floppy disks to manage their nuclear weapons forced during the 2010s. Though this practice was reportedly scrapped by the end of the decade. Thank goodness, because imagine you needing floppy disks for nuclear weapons. That's no bueno. Yeah. Let's see what y'all have to say in the chat. Savage Scientist says, that's true. The default image for the save button is a floppy disk. Yes, it is. Y'all are cracking up and saying WTF. Oh yeah, I know. I wanted to share this article with you guys and just end it on like a little. I mean, it's still not good, but that blunder is kind of funny. Johan said Nippon, Japan. God damn it. Jojo the Techie said, unfortunately, we still use fax machines in the US for medical docs and other stuff. Yes, we do. We do still use that in the United States. But now there's e-faxes too, so it does kind of accommodate that as well. Hi, so that was my last article, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me while I talked about tech and all the cool stuff that's happening in the news. I hope you guys join me again next Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can't stay here, but you don't have to go home. Actually, you could just go to the next live stream that I'm going to be a part of. I'm going to be a part of Holla at Your Boys live stream, the Fresh and So Clean live stream. I'll put a link on there so you guys can go and check it out afterwards. So head on over there, y'all. I'll see you guys in about 4 minutes. Yeah. Oh, Kenny, man, thank you. He said, great stream, man. Have a good night, all. Have a good night, y'all. Love y'all. Have a wonderful night.
Tech Valor.